In the first lesson of the AP Donovan Razor Academy, you'll learn which kind of razor blade suits you best. We explain the different kinds of head, what grinning is all about, and which blade height is right for you. Stay with us, because after the intro there'll be a lot more to learn.
While the pack is still howling at the moon, the Alpha Man has already calculated its orbit. He leaves the others to swim with the current, in touch with his inner self, at work, in love, during contemplation. Having high standards for his own qualities means having high standards for the things in daily life. These are the expectations that AP Donovan is happy to meet.
Shaving with a traditional razor blends art and science. That makes you one of the most creative, smartest people in the world. Let the scientist in you take charge by describing the razor blade that suits you best with this strict mathematical formula. R is S by E by H by F. R is the razor blade you want. S stands for the shape of the razor head. E for the edge, H for the blade's height, and F for the finish. These are the variables that we will examine in detail. There are many different head shapes, straight and rounded heads, Spanish, French and Turkish heads, and all kinds of others too. The head shape is more than just a question of taste and looks. Different head shapes result in the blade having a differently shaped tip. Round and French heads, for example, have a rounded tip, while a straight head gives a sharp point. Thus, the key question is always, how experienced are you in shaving with a straight razor? For beginners, we strongly recommend a rounded point. There is an enormous risk of injury with a sharp-edged point, and you cut so finely that the blood only appears after a few seconds, meaning that a centimeter-long wounds are a real risk. If you're an experienced user, on the other hand, a sharp edge means you can shave with surgical precision, even in hard-to-reach areas of the face. We now turn to the blade edge. There are 3 different kinds of edge and countless variation in between wedged shape, semi-hollow, and fully hollow. So what are the major differences? A wedged-shaped blade is cheaper to manufacture, easier to sharpen, and harder wearing. Nonetheless, the shave is very dull and not to everyone's taste. You're not far off shaving with an axe. A completely hollow blade is very hard to make, and the high wastage rate during production makes it very expensive. However, the blade does give an incredibly smooth shave, but its flexibility makes it very sensitive and difficult to sharpen. Half-hollow edges are therefore recommended for all beginners. They are the best compromise option. A smooth shave, while the blade is not too sensitive and comparatively easy to sharpen, at an acceptable price. The next variable in our equation is the H for the height of the blade. It is usually expressed in inches, and common variants include 5/8, 6/8, or 4/8. 7/8 and 8/8 are somewhat rarer. Higher set blades are easier to control, and it is easier to get a look at the angle between the blade and the face. On the flip side, however, the higher the blade, the harder it is to reach inaccessible regions, such as the skin above the upper lip. Our recommendation for beginners: choose a 6/8 or a 7/8 inch blade. Once you are no longer consciously controlling the angle of attack, you can switch to a 5/8 inch blade instead. Last but not least, the finish, the treatment that is applied to the blade surface. This is purely a question of taste and does not affect its ease of use or functionality. You can therefore choose a design that is highly polished, satinated, laser engraved, etched gold, or even one that has apparently been kissed by a dragon. Let's summarize then. Even with an apparently simple piece of metal like a razor blade, there are lots of factors to consider. Advanced users can already say from experience which blades they like best. We won't get involved. However, one beginner's tip is abundantly clear. Choose a 7/8 inch blade with a rounded point and a half-hollow blade. Goodbye for now from the AP Donovan Straight Razor Academy.